time on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Listen, they say you never forget your first. That's what they say. So remember, you people in Saskatchewan will appreciate this. My first Slurpee wasn't even a Slurpee. It was, I don't even know what we called it. It was at Bryant drugstore. My brother, he drove a little silver sports car. I'm not a car guy, right? I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
A Laser or something? So anyways, we get these Slurpees. First I've ever had. We get a couple miles south of this city. This is farm kid talk here. And I'm just like... Froze my... I thought I was going to die.
Oh, yeah.
Thought I was going to die. Do you remember the first one you ever had?
Yeah, the first...
I can't get enough of this thing.
Well, yes, and the first time you get brain freeze, you literally think you're going to die. You're like, what did I do?
That's what I had.
Like, did I drink this and it went up into my brain?
I froze everything from my belly button up.
Walking the walk and talking the talk. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Right now.
Realizing I watched a lot of television with the youngsters back in the day.
How about that?
I'll say it again. That cab driver in Bucharrios, Mexico, when he said, "Señor, your español es mucho bueno." Why is that? I said, Dora the Explorer. That's why I learned so much Spanish.
I got to brush up on my Spanish, though.
Yes, you do. ¿Cómo estás? Uno más, por favor.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Howdy, Canada. Welcome, Canadian sports fans around the world. It is the RP Show coming at you live out of the bunker. You would think that it's a brand new week and we'd be all ready to go and full of P&V. And you'd be wrong. How you doing, Moose?
I'm good.
My Wi-Fi's not working. I can't get on the comment. Well, that's why I can't get on the comments. Look, I got no comments. What's going on?
I'm not really sure.
The cell phone's dead. We were too busy having fun. Right?
It's okay.
Throwing all our stories on the coffee table about the weekend that we did. We took our eye off the ball.
That's right. That's right.
But that's okay.
It
We're
happens.
Easing into a Monday here. It is the warm-up presented by our good friends at Ecol Electric, and we'll tell you about Ecol Electric coming up in a moment. The boys back. Looks like we're not the only ones, Moose.
Oh, yeah.
The guys in the back were having too much fun. As Daryl Singletary sings here as we get ready to kick off episode number 530 of the RP Show. Now, here we go. We got comments. Big show today. Brian Ramsay, the executive director of the CFL Players Association, is going to be with us, along with the president, Solomon Elimimian. And then coming up in hour two, longtime TSN personality Matt Sekeres, who now is doing what we do. He's hosting a show out there in Vancouver. And we'll be talking NHL expansion draft. He's a huge, huge, huge CFL fan, so we'll be talking with him. And are we live on YouTube now? We are now? Okay, it's not coming up here, but I think that's a me problem.
That's a you problem.
Moose, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Did I ask you that already?
Yeah, things are good. You know, it's a little bit, it's crazy, like starting a new week, and everything seems crazy and hectic, but it's really not.
It shouldn't. Yeah, it's not. Well, what are we
really
doing?
not.
We're sitting here having coffee and talking sports, and it's the view for sports fans. That's what we do here. And just ahead of the Quick Six show topics, would you please, guys, bring up the Great Western's photo album from the weekend? This is what we do every Monday. And here we go. So this is where it started. Moose and I were together. We went to the Saskatchewan Rattlers game against the Guelph Nighthawks. And while the Rattlers got their asses handed to them again, and they dropped to 0-8, I didn't care because I had a bacon cheeseburger in the concession. There's the two of us there. What'd you say? VIP is always better.
That's right.
We treated first class by the Rattlers. This was Saturday night at Estevan Motor Speedway. And can I tell a story about this, by the way?
Yeah.
See that guy? His name's Dave, and he's the normal flag man at the racetrack. And I've dropped enough flags at auto races now that I kind of know what I'm doing. But he said, when they get around this corner, you drop the flag. And we'll come back on the photos in a moment, but... And then over the speaker, it's like, ladies and gentlemen, from the Rod Pedersen Show, would you give a big Estevan welcome to Rod Pedersen? I turned to wave to the crowd, and he's like, hey, pay attention. I'm like, oh, sorry. I was waving to the crowd. They're introducing me. I got to wave to the crowd.
Yeah.
These are my people. And he did laugh. But just so you know, those cars are coming really fast.
Really quick.
Really fast around the track.
I can imagine them driving around the corner, and they're like, is he going to drop it? Mm-hmm. Is he going to? Then they're just like waiting on the gas pedal.
Right,
is he going to? Is he? Wait a second. Like, is he going to drop it?
They're all watching me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, back at it. This is watching Sydney, my niece's scrimmage last night. That's my summer hockey. What'd you think of my feet?
You know what? For a guy who doesn't wear socks, that's good style, though. That's the summer hockey rink style, the socks and slides.
It was nice doing that last night, and that's you.
Yeah, the movie theater. It's funny. It still gets me every time when our commercial plays and you start mooing in the 15-second spot in the theater. But went to Space Jam. For the adults, it's not as good as the first one, but the kids will love it. It was kind of nostalgic, a lot of nostalgia in it, so I went and saw Space Jam on the weekend, which was pretty great.
What else you got?
And that was on Sunday. So working with AO Sports, I'm part of that group, and the guys were in Vegas for the start of the Fantasy Franchise Football League, the UFAFL, and we did an interview with Chris Carter, with Nate Burleson, and that's me and Michael Vick on the weekend. That was a really cool experience. That? Really cool. Yeah.
How about that?
You were interviewing all the big stars. So, it was an unbelievable weekend for all of us. And I will get to your comments, folks, in a moment, but this is the warm-up, as you all know, for our friends at Ecole Electric, and we got business to get to here. But I will say, from Costa Marigas, host of the Costa Marigas Show, a news anchor legend from the CBC, he says, as an honorary member of Regina's Greek community, Rod, you must be pumped about the Bucks. Go Greek Freak. Absolutely. The Bucks are the Phoenix Suns were my rooting interest in the NBA playoffs. However, if the Bucks bring it home, I'll be happy. And we were with the Greeks last weekend, and what did I tell you? They talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo as one of their own, and they refer to him as Yanni. That's his nickname. So anyways, thanks for sitting through all of that, everybody. Let's get to the quick six show topics, please. I feel like we're almost out of time. We're not, but I feel like we're rushed now. The warm-up's brought to you by Ecole Electric. Come check out our new Regina Data and Lighting Center. Ecole Electric, let's get to work. Again, if you're new to the show, the quick six show topics are of importance to me. Maybe not necessarily you, but it's my show. So number one, I could not believe the furor coming out of the weekend in a good way with these NHL protected lists for this Seattle expansion draft on Wednesday night. It is a ton of fun. And by Wednesday, we're all going to pick what we would do if we were the Seattle Kraken. But I was at the racetrack Saturday night in Estevan when it came down. I got the notification on my phone, I'm calling it up here, that the Montreal Canadiens were going to leave Carrie Price unprotected. And I was like, not CP31. What do you mean? And then you got to think about it a little bit. And he's one of, as we would learn over the next 24 hours, one of many big names to be left unprotected. And I didn't need TSN's Mike Johnston to tell me because I already knew, but we agree. These NHL GMs are daring Ron Francis of the Kraken to take their big-name guys, whether it be, I believe, Mark Giordano or Carey Price or some of these other big-name NHL guys. Our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is, should the Seattle Kraken select Carey Price in the expansion draft? Can you believe, Moose? 67% say yes, they should. What are they saying on Facebook?
72% on Facebook say yes.
Here's why I wouldn't. And I love me some Carey Price. He's going to be around for a long time. The Montreal Canadiens don't want to lose Carey Price. He's the face of the franchise. He got him to the Stanley Cup final, and they know that. They're daring Ron Francis to do it. There's no way you're going to take Carey Price, and they won't. Now, I would take Braden Holtby. Far cheaper. He's actually won a Stanley Cup. Don't at me. They're around the same age. He would be my guy. And Capo Kakin and the backup goalie for the Minnesota Wilds at $700,000. But as much as I always say to you, I don't get into the terms and the contracts and the bridge and this is fun.
You kind of have to.
This is fun.
Right? It is fun. And we'll do this over the next couple of days. But, you know, it's funny. Carey Price is a BC guy. He played his junior hockey in the Pacific Northwest. There's a lot of ties to the area and reasons why he might want to. But that's a lot. Like, you have to understand that if Carey Price is going to be the face of your franchise, then you're paying for it because you got to pay that $11 million bonus that's due right away. You got to pay the $10+ million on his contract and take the salary cap hit. And as you and I are trying to, and I'm trying to go through and pick my roster ahead of Wednesday when we'll unveil who we're picking, I've had Carrie Price in a few of mine, and right now I'm trying to fit him in, but it's incredibly difficult to build a great team when you got $10 million tied up in your goaltender and you got to stay under $81 million. So I don't know if they will or not, but they're daring teams to take him. You know, Shea Weber, another, because he's hurt, right? Will you take him? Giordano as a veteran.
Yeah.
You know, Ovechkin in Washington is left unprotected, but he's a UFA. Do you really think, and what's free agency on the 27th? You got 6 days, you know, or so to negotiate. And if you don't get him under contract, he goes to free agency and probably back to Washington. So you really have to know that you can get guys signed. It's a really unique process.
The Canadian Football League Players Association is watching on YouTube, and they send us the wave emoji. Hi, guys, at the CFLPA. Coming up next segment, Solomon Elimimian, the president of the CFLPA. We're going to call Saul in the next segment, and also Brian Ramsey, the executive director. Zach Nelson's watching in Calgary, says, fair point about Holtby, Rod. Well, hey, I'm not just a pretty face. I know stuff.
How about that?
The other thing on this is, as I said to you, would these guys be offended if they were left unprotected? I don't think Carey Price would. He intentionally did this to be unprotected because I think he knows Seattle wouldn't take him. Mark Giordano, probably not the same story. And I don't, for you people watching in Calgary, I'd like to know what you think about your captain being unprotected. And here's my thinking on this. Stick with me. I've been around the block a few times and been through some expansion drafts with teams that I've worked for. Any guys that are left unprotected are offended that they're left unprotected. In every case. Some of them have even been sat down and said, okay, Zach, this is why we're leaving you unprotected. Don't matter. And I remember when the Edmonton Ice came into the Western Hockey League in 1997, and I remember all the guys that were protected and all the guys that weren't with the Gods team, the Regina Pats, and the guys that were left unprotected were very offended. Saskatchewan Roughriders 2013 going into the 2014 season, the expansion draft for the Ottawa Redblacks, Zach Evans, upset about it. And Sholigan, Keith Shol, remember Sholo?
Oh, yeah.
Very upset, what do you mean? You don't want me? I'm not part of this? Would it be any different in the NHL here? I don't think it would be.
Probably not. Unless, again, depending on the relationship you have with management and the conversations that are had. Guys like Carey Price that have been asked, Ben Bishop is another, to waive your no movement clause, right? Because we want to unprotect you. They know it's coming. But for others who get left unprotected and they're not sure if they were going to be left unprotected or not, yeah, you're offended. I get that. Because you want to be on the team. You want to be part of the future. You think you're a key piece, and you start realizing, guess I'm not as key to this organization as I thought I was.
Exactly. I'm not saying that's the case in every.
Right.
But I'm saying it will be with some.
There are some teams that it's automatic, and nobody's sitting there thinking, I should have been protected over Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid. And
yeah.
Right? But when you're a fringe guy and another fringe guy has been protected.
And that was the thing with Canada's team, the Vegas Golden Knights. Let's be honest, all those guys called themselves the Misfits, and they rallied around that, and they got to the Stanley Cup Final in 2018, as you all know. But I don't see a lot of Jonathan Marchessaults and William Karlssons on this list. I don't. Yeah. So there's some big names, of course, but can you fit them all in the game of salary Tetris? Moving on to point two. CFL news coming out of the weekend. It's not all good. The Montreal Alouettes cut kicker Tyler Crapigny over the weekend. Good friend of ours. Hopefully he catches on with somebody. Mike Filer retires, the longtime center of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That came down this morning. And then some really sad and breaking news out of Winnipeg. I think it was just this morning. The Blue Marlins announced that longtime defensive back Mercy Maston suffered an Achilles tendon tear, and he's done for the season. He's a friend of ours. He watches our show, our story every day. Mercy Maston, and that's why we put prayers up for Mercy on our Instagram story, because he's a big fan of ours. We're a big fan of his. And they went out and the Bombers went out and got Eldon Darby from the Argos in a trade today. So that's some of the CFL. None of it's real good, but on Friday, Rob Vanstone from the Leader Post came on here, and he said that the preseason is overrated because we don't need a preseason. He's sitting over there at Mosaic Stadium watching Ryder practice, and I thought, while it sounds immediately ridiculous, maybe we don't need a preseason. Full disclosure that I'm such a sports nerd that I love inter-squad games. I love practice. I love preseason games. But I understand I don't represent everybody. The NFL had no preseason games last year, and you wouldn't even notice. Week 1 was right on point. What do we need a preseason for? Maybe RV's on to something. If I had to go behind and vote in the poll station, I would vote yes for preseason. But maybe we don't need it.
We might not. You know, we're in a position right now where, you know what, the practices are at a high level, and we have inter-squad games and green and white scrimmages. And now at certain levels like the National Football League, you practice with other teams. You have joint practices where you can get some of that competition. And if you start doing that in the Canadian Football League, and you have those rookie tournaments in the National Hockey League, you start doing more joint practices and scrimmages, maybe you don't need the preseason. And the players are also coming to training camp in a lot better shape than they used to 30, 40 years ago, right? So maybe you don't need it. Maybe it's an outdated model that's just here because it's what we've always done.
The stories coming out of preseason over the years are legendary in every sport. This is where guys make the team or break the team. That's where the rubber hits the road, is the preseason. So, no, I'm not in favor of it, but it's, who knows? Let's at least discuss it, moving forward. By the way, the Blue Jays sweeping both ends of their doubleheader yesterday. Why are they getting rid of the 7-inning doubleheaders? They're amazing. They're so great.
They're great.
But again, they don't ask me. Colin McAnulty is watching in Ottawa, and he says, LOL, Zach Evans got to play in 2 more Grey Cups and won another one in 2016 with the Red Blacks, so I'd say it was a good pick for my Red Blacks. I didn't say it wasn't a great pick. What I said was Zach Evans was offended by not being protected by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. A lot of times, listen, it sets the course of your life. And no, any guy that goes on to an expansion franchise usually was the best thing in his life. But at the time, they're offended that they're not protected. That's all that I'm saying. Catlin Hogan's watching in Minnesota. He says, I'd hate to lose Capo in Minnesota, but you're right. He's a great choice for a backup in Seattle. I couldn't believe how cheap he was, inexpensive, looking at the salaries here. So that's what I would do. Braden Holtby and Capo Kapanen as the goaltenders for the expansion Seattle Kraken. No charge for the advice. As I mentioned, point 3, Blue Jays are rolling. Point 4, CEBL stuff. The Rattlers got spanked Friday night. We were there. But they did announce over the weekend Ottawa will be hosting the 2022 CEBL Championship Tournament. Point 6, this morning, breaking news. Canada's flag bearers announced by the IOC. What's the Canadian? COC.
That's right.
Miranda Aam, women's basketball, and Nathan Hirayama, rugby, will be the flag bearers. In point 6, the Bucks are up 3-2 in the NBA Finals. We'll be discussing that later. So that's the quick 6 show topics. A lot to get to, but a lot on the NHL expansion draft and a lot on CFL news. And we'll continue that when we come back. Solomon Elimimian, president of the CFLPA, Brian Ramsey, executive director of said CFLPA, will join us on video. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus television network across all 10 provinces and 31 states. Live daily on YouTube and Facebook, and 24-hour sports radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Direct West has been the bridge for me from not dealing with social media or digital presence to having a presence. You have to take the leap of faith, so to say, and I'm glad we have. Direct West has helped us out immensely to get our presence online as far as digitally and also with the social media page. To see the results is just puts a smile on your face.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming, the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Brand new week coming down. And there is news today, breaking news out of the CFL, and it's not great. Mercy Maston, blown Achilles with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Blue Bomber veteran, his season's done. And I guess to fill his spot, the Blue Bombers have gone out and acquired Alden Darby, veteran DB from the Toronto Argonauts. We'll be talking about that a little later on. And I also brought up the preseason. Do we even need a preseason in the CFL? I think we do, but maybe we don't. Jeff and the Stamps fan says preseason allows season ticket holders to catch up with those who sit around them without missing anything existing on the field. Colin in Ottawa, coaches need some preseason to finalize the final roster spots and define the special team warriors. Listen, I know that. Maybe we should put it to a vote. Let's bring in Solomon Elimimian now, president of the CFLPA and their executive director, Brian Ramsey. Are we doing them together here? I believe we are. Or are we starting with Saul? Anyway, there we go. Hey, morning, guys. How you doing?
Morning, Rod. How are you?
Good morning, Rod.
I'm very well, thanks. I'm going to start with you, Brian, if you don't mind, to maybe bring greetings from the Players Association, if you don't mind. We've already, today's the first cut down day. We're, 8-9 days into training camp. From your perspective, how have things gone?
I think it's been an exciting time. There's been challenges, no doubt. I mean, our membership were affected like so many throughout the pandemic and are excited to get back to work. We're excited to get the season started and get in front of our fans across the league. As I said, no doubt some challenges to start, but we anticipate working through them and having a great season this year.
What, Brian, is your thoughts on the blown Achilles? Is it literally the flavor of the year, or is it like just a freak thing? We've had these, right, or is it more to it than that? I mean, it's your job to look after the players. So what have you found out about that or discovered about that?
Yeah, I think there's more to it. We're not seeing it across every team. We've seen it in specific instances. We've seen it. We've done research in other leagues that have restarted. Obviously, this was something that was top of mind for us, and we pressed upon in the months leading up to this season. And it's something that's important for us. Continuing to investigate this, the instances that have happened, you mentioned just before we got on, the unfortunate incident in Winnipeg today. So this is something that's top of mind for us, and we don't think should happen. We understand that there's an injury rate in professional football, but these specific instances shouldn't be happening as they are.
Thank you for that, Brian. Very interesting. And Saul, I'll ask you some of these same questions, but first, how many people asked if you were coming out of retirement when Larry Dean went down? Come on, let's be honest. And did you think about it, by the way?
Well, yeah, not just with Larry going down, but I had a couple, teams prod and asked if I would consider coming back. And when I made the decision to retire, back in February, it was one where I was comfortable with my decision, and, I'm ready to move on. When I looked at my career, I was very fortunate to have played for 10 years and played on a wonderful team with wonderful teammates. And it was something I didn't really consider, because what I'm doing now, I'm really enjoying as president of PA, but also doing things on the, real estate side and, entrepreneur side of things. So it wasn't one I considered. I spoke to Larry, just kind of gave him some little advice on his Achilles and something that I had back in 2015. But I'm happy with where I'm at.
Good for you. I'm glad to hear you say that. Have you talked to, well, obviously as the Players Association president, I'm sure you have talked to those players about their Achilles injuries, and the fact that you went through it, I would think would help them. Can you tell me how their mindset is? Because I just felt so terrible for them when it happened. Yeah,
it's very unfortunate. It's a tragic circumstance. I don't think it should have happened. And our job as the associations to kind of put safeguards in place so injuries like this doesn't happen. So, I spoke to Larry, I spoke to Coach Dickinson, and, just trying to understand like how it happened, and more so how do we prevent something like this happening in the future. In regards to Larry, I just told him, just have the right mindset, and, pretty much it's going to be hard for the first 4 months because you're going to be mobilized, you're going to be limited in what you can do. But as soon as, the cast comes off, the boot comes off, all the work really is with you, strengthen it, and, add in, flexibility with it, and just really pushing it as hard as you can, because it is an injury that's very tricky. Some players don't come back from it. I was fortunate to come back from it, and it was really the off-season work and the grind that I put into it, and it was probably one of the greatest achievements that I've had, because I know how hard it was. But Larry's a champion. He's a great guy. He works hard. I've known Larry for many years, and you know what? He'll come back better than ever.
Brian Ramsey is the executive director of the CFLPA. Solomon Elimimian is the president. And Randolph Zor is watching in Ontario. He says the Achilles used to be a career ender, not anymore. And actually, that's a good point to bring up, Brian. You've been around, played a very long time. I guess that's a blessing in a way right there. I mean, you remember those knee injuries, ACL, MCL, PCLs all used to be career ending too. Thank God it's not as serious as it used to be, or at least medical technology.
Yeah, definitely. Medicine has gotten better in terms you don't hear of that career-ending knee injury from something that we experience now. You can come back in a shorter amount of time. But I don't think that takes away from the impact that this may have on a career and for sure this season for those individuals, especially when there's protocols that can be placed in to reduce these from happening. As Solomon said, the goal right now is to make sure that this doesn't happen again. How do we instill that change so we're not seeing these rash of injuries ever again?
Brian, how is the mood of the player base here as we are a week into training camp? Because listen, you know that I talk to the agents almost every day. I mean, there were some massive pay cuts and so forth, but the guys want to play ball. How are they as a collective group? Just excited to play ball, or is there a bit of a chip on their shoulder that they're playing for a lot less than they signed for?
I think there's a really good understanding in the membership and unity in the membership, in that we've been able to work with the CFL the last 2 years to ensure that we had an opportunity to play football and get back to work. And we work closely again this year, as we did last year, to ensure that we took into consideration the challenges the pandemic had. And our membership understood that. But there's definitely a unity within our group right now that understands that there needs to be changes moving forward to ensure that the league grows and we grow together.
What is your take, Brian, on the retirements, by the way? We saw another one today. with Mike Filer. He played your position. Just what is your statement on the Rash of Retirements? I think we know why it happened, but you don't like to see guys walk away from a career when it's happened this way.
No, you don't. And what we've found is that a lot of times our members don't have the opportunity to make that decision. So in part, when you see that happening, you're grateful that the player is able to make that decision on their own to walk away from it. But you also understand the reasons in this instance why they're probably doing that, and that's the year away from football. And as Solomon stated when he talked about his retirement, you start to begin to work on things outside of your playing career and quite quickly. So we have seen a rash of it. We expected a rash when we talked to the membership. It's been a challenge. They've had to figure out in the past 16 months other means to earn revenue and start that life after football. And what we're finding is a lot of players right now are making the decision that that's in their best interest to do that.
Solomon, what's your take? I guess I would throw you in that group of guys that retired here within the last 12 months. What are your thoughts on them all sort of hitting all at once? You were ahead of a lot of these guys, but again, not great for the league or the players. You don't like to see this.
Yeah, the last 16 months we faced a lot of challenges, and I'm just proud of the work our association, did, navigating these challenges. One of the things we did was provide resources for our players, whether it's, job opportunities, educational, opportunities, or just, financial literacy. We have in our program where guys can learn about financial literacy or other things. And, to Brian's point, guys had to figure out how to survive. And, the trouble with the league that we had was there wasn't enough clarity, I think, from the league and, from last year or even up until this year in terms of, when guys were supposed to get back on the football field and with families. You got to make decisions best for your family. And, looking back at it, guys chose that the opportunities outside of football, I think, were greater than the ones football presented. So those things should be, cheered and encouraged. And, Mike is a player rep. Mike Fowler's a player rep. You alluded to, he retired today. He's going to have a great career outside of football, and that's what we all want. We want guys to use football as a springboard to, life after football, because, the life after football is going to be a lot longer than our careers that we have. So.
Hey, Brian, just before I let you go, do you have a statement like you'd like to make on behalf of the CFLPA, or we covered it here today?
No, I think this has been great, Rod, and we encourage, as I said, there's a number of things ongoing for us right now that have our attention. Obviously, the season ahead, we've got collective bargaining again coming up this next spring, and there's some topics that I'm sure we'll be back to discuss with you here in the short term.
Well, you know where to find us. The floor is always open to you guys. I appreciate the time here today, and enjoy the football.
Thanks, Rod.
You bet. Brian Ramsey, Executive Director of CFL Players Association, and Solomon Elimimian. Didn't like to see him retire, but wasn't sad not to have to say his name. It's a mouthful.
Yeah, but a hell of a player.
An unbelievable player.
And that's what we'll miss is seeing him on the field every week.
We'll see if that quote lives from Brian Ramsey on the Achilles injuries. He's like, this isn't a fluke. It's not every team. Were you paying attention to that, people? So they're investigating it. They're looking into it. Ryan Baracco, watching, Rocco, says, love hearing the players are united. Well, they absolutely are. But obviously there's some issues that they would like to address. Hey, a sports update before we break. A dominant Sunday for the Blue Jays. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. hit a first-inning grand slam, and Vladdy slugged his 31st homer of the season as Toronto routed the Texas Rangers 10-0 to sweep a doubleheader on Sunday. Hyun-Jin Ryu threw his third career shutout as the Jays downed the Rangers 5-0 in the early match. It's the first time in Toronto's history that the team has swept a doubleheader with two shutouts. Did you hear that? First time since 1977 that they've swept a doubleheader, blanking them both times.
And we don't think they're going to get 100 wins, right?
Moose, you called it.
How about that?
We should have put a bet on it.
Well, should have put something.
We're only not we're not even a week into the post All-Star break schedule, by the way. Hey, I'm going to get to your comments too. I got some great ones coming in. You're not going to believe from who. Gleyber Torres and Rougned Odor homered as the depleted New York Yankees beat the Boston Red Sox 9-1 Sunday. The Yanks were playing without all-star slugger Aaron Judge and 5 others who tested positive for COVID-19. Ty France hit a 3-run homer, and the Seattle Mariners defeated the LA Angels 7-4. Logan Gilbert struck out a career-high 9 batters. Angels two-way star sensation Shohei Ohtani hit his major league leading 34th home run in the 9th inning. 2 goals by Austin Ricci and a league-leading 6th clean sheet for Jonathan Sirois gave Valor FC a 3-0 victory over York United FC in the Canadian Premier League. What did I just say? Could we get subtitles?
I know.
I'm reading it. I'm Ron Burgundy right now.
Just whatever's on the prompter.
Say it again. 2 goals by Austin Ricci and a league-leading 6th clean sheet for Jonathan Sirois gave Valor FC a 3-0. Stay classy, San Diego.
How about that?
Not a soccer guy.
What's a clean sheet? Do you know what a clean sheet is?
Shutout.
Oh.
Soccer term
I thought
for
it was,
shutout.
I thought it was a curling term. Valor's won 3 in a row, and they extended their lead atop the CPL standings to 6 points. In the other match, Atletico Ottawa and FC Edmonton tied 1-1. You see, I'm at least getting it in there. Right?
Oh, yeah. No, proud of that.
I'm trying. Damian Lillard, because I'm fluent in both of Canada's official languages, hockey and football. Soccer's like Mandarin to me.
Yeah, but you're trying.
I'm trying. Damian Lillard scored 19 points to help the United States beat Spain 83-76 in the final pre-Olympic basketball game for both teams. Keldon Johnson added 15 points for the United States. This sports update for the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store and for Red Bull Canada. Red Bull gives you wings. We'll be back, and we'll get into viewer takeover for the rest of the show, which is always fun. You're watching the RP Show on this Monday. Episode number 530 of Canada's daytime sports talk show continues after this on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 24-hour sports radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
At Capital Ford Lincoln, we don't just sell vehicles, we buy them too. You know how we always have such a big inventory with an amazing selection? That's because we buy all makes, all models, and all years. We're going to give you the best price every time. And you don't even have to buy from us. All you have to do is visit us online or in-store, answer a few questions about your vehicle, and we'll get you a great offer. We'll even cut you a check on the same day. So save yourself the hassles of selling privately and sell it to us. Because at Capital Ford Lincoln, we'll buy it.
Comfort has always been something we as people strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445. In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek in Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic Greek cuisine, pizza, ribs, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Offering licensed dining, delivery, and their takeout window is open to get your Greek to go. For more information and to view the online menu, visit themadgreekeatery.com.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca. Or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. Settle in, get comfortable right up until the top of the hour. 20 minutes are left for viewer takeover. And if you're watching on Game Plus TV right now, I invite you to write us on text 306-840-8777. Prairie Mobile is your authorized SaskTel mobility dealer. The number is on the screen. We got a lot of topics to get here today. If you joined us late, it wasn't all just CFL. I want to get into this. For instance, potential Seattle Kraken selections in the expansion draft on Sunday. Will it be Carrie Price, their goalie? No, of course it's not going to be Carrie Price. I can't believe anybody would think that it would be. Yet, on our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, should the Seattle Kraken select Carrie Price in the expansion draft? 69% of you say yes. And Moose, what are they saying on Facebook?
78%.
Even more saying yes, draft Carrie Price.
Yeah.
Bring him home with you. No. That's why they left him available. Because they know that Seattle won't take him at $10.5 million. That's 1/8 of their salary cap on one guy. He's the best goalie in the game right now. He's the best goalie on the planet, yes. But you can find good goalies for far less. Braden Holtby is $4.5 million, and he's won a Stanley Cup. But again, Ron Francis, I don't think is going to call me before Wednesday for my thoughts on who he should take. Maybe he will, but I think people are prisoners of the moment with regards to Carrie Price. They just fell in love with him, and I love him too.
Well, and they're talking about he might need surgery on his knee.
Yeah, that's a smoke screen.
You know, who knows? But
same thing with
you're right. You know, you get romantic and you think, you know, okay, we're going to the Stanley Cup because we got Carrie Price, and that may be the case. But that's over $20 million you got to spend on him this year.
Right.
The salary.
You can't spend 1/8 of your salary cap on one guy. Montreal Canadiens did it, and they went to the Stanley Cup. But I wouldn't build an expansion team that way.
No, and there's other goaltenders. I mean, Ben Bishop's a good goaltender. He's unprotected in Dallas. Braden Holtby's there. If you want to go down the list, I mean, Martin Jones is available in San Jose. He might be able to get back. You want to take a real flyer and a chance on somebody a little less money. Matt Murray's available, whether you think he's good enough or not. Young guys like Capo Kakinen or Joey Decord. There's some options there. You don't need to go out and get Carey Price. He's not the only one.
From Frank Saravelli, the baby-faced assassin, formerly of TSN, now I see he's on Sportsnet. He says, this story continues to evolve and percolate. I'm told as the Kraken continue to investigate Price's injuries, ownership has given Hockey Ops the full green light to select Price if Ron Francis sees fit. Health concerns and all. There is zero doubt they're considering it. Well, of course you're going to consider it. Should we bet whether they take him or not? I will bet they will not take him. Would you take him?
Hey, when I was up last night putting my roster together, he was on it. He was on it. I spent 45 minutes because when I first went through and picked all my guys and I added up the thing, I'm like, oh my God, I spent $95 million. I'm like, there's no, how do I fit him in? And then you start, trying to chintz here, and I can scrape a little salary by taking this guy instead of this guy. And you don't really like the roster. I've started looking at it. I'm like, I don't have a top pair defense.
Well,
because I got Carey Price here. So it's tough.
This is not the Caesars buffet. Which, have you ever been at the buffet at Caesars? It's like $95. You have? Woo. It's like $95 a head.
It's right outside.
This ain't that. When Ron Francis is walking down the buffet line, it's not, I can't decide between the sushi and the steak. No. I'm not sure this is even the Golden Corral of expansion lists. I'm not joking. And what's Carey Price on that? He's at the end, eh? He's the prime rib at the end.
Oh, he is. And you got to decide.
I filled my plate. I don't have room for prime rib.
Yeah, and then you got to go back and dump all the stuff off, and it's like, then it becomes, why did I come to the buffet to only get prime rib?
Yeah,
I could have got that for $40 at the Keg.
Somewhere else.
Yeah.
Boy, people are getting worked up about this. Todd Pinkney on Facebook says, I bet they do. Nope. I will bet you that they do not. Not be a smart decision.
The only thing with all those other goaltenders is there is some question marks around them. Now, if Carey Price, the injury, whether it's real or not, that's a question mark. But you're getting the best or one of the best goalies in the world. With Ben Bishop, you don't know if he took a year off, first time in his career. You don't know if he's going to be back to that Vezina kind of caliber. You don't know if Braden Holtby is going to be back to Stanley Cup winning goaltender. You don't know if Martin Jones is going to be back to the goaltender that led San Jose through the playoffs. You don't know. With Carey Price, you know.
And I'm glad you said that. From the Puck and Pigskin podcast, he says, is Carey Price the prime rib at the end, or is it Ovi or Tarasenko? Ovi's not leaving Washington. Why would you draft him?
Yeah.
You need to build something in Seattle. You notice the Golden Knights never drafted anybody like this at all. You need to build something in Seattle. Ovi wouldn't be that. Tarasenko clearly is a whiny, petulant child. Has been forever in St. Louis. Why do you think they left him unprotected? He's already asked for a trade. Yes, you can't just look at the skill, but he just said it. Carey Price, you know what you're getting. Quality person, quality goaltender, but also at $10.5 million a year. It's a fun discussion, but you're not doing it. And I would be willing to make that bet here to anybody that it doesn't happen on Wednesday night. But damn, we're all going to be watching, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
With a lot of interest.
Big time.
But we also knew that Vegas was going to take Marc-Andre Fleury #1, and they did. And that was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
John Schmeizer's watching in Kansas City. He says, as a Habs fan, I'd hate to lose Carey Price, but there are so many good reasons why the Kraken should take him. Didn't say he's not a great goaltender. He's a very expensive goaltender. And this business about his injuries is just another smokescreen, same as Shea Weber. I got on the elliptical this morning. I flip on SportsCenter, and it's headline, Shea Weber may never play again. All designed to scare Ron Francis the bejesus out of him.
Well, and that's it. I'm going through this too, and I was thinking about UFAs, and I don't want to take too many UFAs because the window to sign them, you might end up with nothing. So you want to sign guys under contract, but there's a lot of guys that you want to take that are scheduled to be UFAs on the 27th of July, and one of them is Philip Deneau in Montreal. You look at Price, Weber, Philip Deneau,
top line guy,
tremendous playoff, really great defensive forward. Can contribute. He's a UFA, so you want him, but you might not be able to retain him.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, what do you think of Gio going to Seattle, Rod? I would take Mark Giordano. But back to our earlier point, I bet you he's disgruntled and upset that he was left unprotected. I will guarantee that he is. Every player that I've ever known that's been left unprotected in expansion drafts was miffed. And I think for Gio, it's not a secret they got a culture problem in Calgary. We all know that. And I'm not saying he is responsible for it, but I will say that he's part of it. So maybe it would be good for everybody for a change of scenery. And I think it's $5.5 million for Mark Giordano. That's a bargain.
Yeah. I couldn't take Gio if you got Price on the books. It's one or the other. I wanted Matthew Phillips, the young forward, but it's the same thing. He sees it as a captain. In Tampa, they protected Steven Stamkos, and I'm sure as he's moved up with Kucherov taking over in Braden Point, Stamkos could be expendable in Tampa. And I'm sure they'd love to keep Andre Palat and Yanni Gourde, but they protected Stamkos because he's the leader of that team.
There are some CFL questions, so we'll get to those when we come back, plus more on this. I told you we had a lot to get to today. And Matt Sekeres from Vancouver going to join us as well to talk about this and other things. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Capital is Regina's trusted Ford Lincoln dealership. Whether you're on the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle, we got you covered. And when it's time for service work, you can trust our factory-trained technicians who specialize in repairing any make or model. But don't take our word for it. Check out capitalfordlincoln.com to see how we roll and to learn about what other customers are saying about working with us. Your dealership experience should be fun, easy, and transparent. And that's what you get when you choose Capital Ford Lincoln, Regina's trusted Ford Lincoln dealership.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming, the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Direct West provides us with stats and analytics, and it's amazing for us to look and see that each year we're 10 to 20% higher on our Google leads. It's great to see the success that our locations are having. The Direct West app gives us an opportunity to be in one place for people to find any of our locations or our commodities. Without Direct West, we would have to be in multiple digital places. I would recommend Direct West. They're great to work with.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Welcome back, everybody. It is what we call Viewer Takeover, and we're starting it a little early today. And by the way, coming up next hour, Matt Sekeres from Vancouver. sports broadcaster out there. And as I told you in the break, Moose, all the hockey guys are watching across Canada, and they want their opinions. They want to get on. They're watching on Game Plus TV. Guys, we'll get you on, but you can text me your thoughts too. I won't name who you are if you want me to pass along your thoughts. Boy, I sure got people talking on this Seattle Kraken thing. Oh, my God. Jeff watching on YouTube, Jeff on the Zone writes, then he says, "What's up, Rod and Darren? How's your morning going? What would your Seattle mock draft be like?" We've only been talking about it for 54 minutes, Jeff. Hit rewind.
How about that?
It's like they think we're a jukebox, right? Drop in a quarter. Sing a song for me. We've been singing the same song for 54 minutes. Where you been?
Tell me a joke, clown.
Yeah, tell me a joke, clown. I got a few. On the CFL thing, it was interesting. We spent about 5 to 10 minutes on the CFL earlier with Solomon Elimimian and Brian Ramsay from the Players Association, and this is important to get out. They don't feel all the popped Achilles tendons across the CFL are a fluke thing. They're investigating this. They think it's wrong what's happened to the players. Another one today announced by the Blue Bombers, Mercy Maston, season done. Achilles, gone. 4 in Saskatchewan, 2 in Montreal. I don't know what it is, and it doesn't sound like they do either, but they're like, I'll say this for them, but they're like, don't let the teams off by saying, oh, it's just a freak accident, act of God. Nope. Now, and speaking of that, yeah, I was all over the province on the weekend. It was awesome, but I did also have some coffee time with some football guys around here, and they're like, oh, what about this turf at Mosaic Stadium? It's only a few years old. Well, they had that hockey rink on it all winter. Remember? Iceville?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there was a whole hockey ice surface on the turf. What's different? That. So obviously the fact that they put the world's largest skating rink on top of the turf is the reason for all the blown Achilles. And I'm like, I'm not saying you guys are wrong, but that's a large coincidence, maybe two.
It's not the first time we've put a hockey rink on a football field. Hey, have you seen the Heritage Classic every single year?
Just saying.
We do this all the time. They bring out fire and halftime shows in the middle of a football game and take that off, and there's no problems. It snows on a football field with ice while they're playing, and we don't see this type of injuries. I mean, we do see it, but not at this level. So, yeah. Not saying they're wrong, but it's not the first time.
That's what I'm saying. And in a lot of these conversations, I just sit around and have my coffee and just smile and nod.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But they don't always allow you to do that, right? Because they want you to chime in with your opinion on their take.
Of course.
Right. And I'm like, I don't know, guys. But I thought it was very interesting that the Players Association said today, no, this is wrong. There's a reason this happened, and we're looking into it. So we'll continue this next hour with Matt Sekeres. More hockey talk. Stick around. You're watching on Game Plus TV, plus streaming.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Comfort has always been something we as people strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Right now.
Realizing I watched a lot of television with the youngsters back in the day.
How about that?
I'll say it again. That cab driver in Bucharrios, Mexico, when he said, "Señor, you're español, mucho bueno." Why is that? I said, Dora the Explorer. That's why I learned so much Spanish.
I got to brush up on my Spanish, though.
Yes, you do. ¿Cómo estás? Uno más, por favor.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
That's a fact. That's where I learned my Spanish. Hey, in Quebec, were you not impressed with my Francais?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. And I didn't have any loaded up, but I had a couple, and you kept taking them because you just
knew them already.
You just knew them all. You were going.
I'm sorry.
No, it was good.
Poutine. More than just. Hello, Quebec. How are you? It's hour 2 of the RP Show. We're coming at you live out of the bunker, and it is episode number 430 of Canada's daytime sports talk show. And hello to our American friends, too, that are chiming in to talk sports. And so, yeah, if you're just joining us, you've missed a lot. This is the second half kickoff brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace. And what we're getting to today is a lot of summer sports items. I'm just looking at my quick 6 show topics here. We really only settled on 2. We're all excited that the Blue Jays are kicking ass. Who isn't?
That's right.
Looks like they're going to hit 100 wins, and I love it. Wild card berth might be shooting low. They might win a pennant here. But dang, are they fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not even what we're talking about when I say summer sports. I just got the notification here. Just come up from the Score, and it's about the Seattle Kraken, okay? Let's just talk about it. It is July. I understand that. But on Wednesday is the expansion draft for the NHL's 32nd team, and everybody's talking about, I can't believe how many people are talking about who the Kraken might take and who was left protected and unprotected by NHL teams over the weekend. And I said last hour, these hockey guys all over the country are texting me wanting their opinions thought of, and I'm like, well, come on the show then. And some are going to, and others don't want to come on the show, but they're like, just say this. So the poll question today is regarding Carrie Price, CP31. He was left unprotected by the Montreal Canadiens. And I still believe Mark Bergevin, the GM of the Habs, is daring Ron Francis in Seattle to take Carrie. He won't. He won't. But the poll question today is, should the Kraken select Carey Price in the expansion draft? 68% on Twitter saying yes. And what's Facebook?
Yeah, 74%.
Over 70. And I just think, that's nice of you, but I just think that you're prisoners of the moment here. You wouldn't do that if you were the GM of the Seattle Kraken. You're not going to tie up 1/8 of your entire salary in goal. Yes, Mark Bergevin did it. Yes, they went to the Stanley Cup with it. But if you're an expansion team, I don't think that you do that. And I'm willing to bet anybody that come Wednesday night when we're watching this thing live on, Sportsnet will have it, that they don't take Carey Price. I would take Braden Holtby. We've been talking about that all day. He's won a Stanley Cup. He's a smidgen older. He costs less than half as much. He's not even playing in Vancouver. Like, last year was like a free year for Braden Holtby. No wear and tear on his body that I could see. That's what I would do. Now, before we do move on to these CFL topics, because there's some good ones here, we're going to, on Wednesday, unveil the team that we'll pick. And you're trying to stay within the salary cap.
Yeah.
Good on you for doing that.
That's right.
As am I. But you think that our teams will be far, far, far different. Like Max Domi was left unprotected by Columbus. But let's think about this for a second. How many teams Max Domi got to be on? Do you want him on your team? Do you want him on? What are you trying to build out here in Seattle? That he would be left unprotected by the Blue Jays? He's the only guy on the team I can name. Other than Line A. And nobody wants him. Why are they leaving Max Domi unprotected? And you would take him? I wouldn't.
Yeah, I
wouldn't.
He's penciled in, but I got time till Wednesday to make different
I might
decisions.
talk you out of it.
New information might come around before Wednesday, and we release our rosters. But Max Domi is somebody I think there. But I keep thinking about this because I've wondered about putting Landeskog on my list. He's upset that there hasn't been a deal done on an extension in Colorado, but he's a pending UFA. You sign him, and then he goes right back to Colorado, you're done. But you look at whether it's Landeskog and a chance on him, whether it's taking Ryan Johansson or Matt Duchene from Nashville, or depending on who you're taking, you got to think about the group, the locker room.
That's what I'm saying.
How many leaders are going to be in your room, right? And can you have that many cooks in the kitchen and still have success? I don't know.
Well, you better start thinking about it before Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm working on it real hard.
Because it didn't take me too long. The one thing that I can't get was Jordan Eberle. My precious Jordan was left unprotected by the New York Islanders. And that feeds back to our point last hour of, are you offended and a little jilted if you were left unprotected by your team? I could see Lou Lamoriello bringing in Jordan and saying, Ebbs, listen, this is why we're doing it. And I think Ebbs would be fine. But I've never known a player that was left unprotected to not be offended by that.
I get it.
So now Carey Price offered. Yeah. Carey Price offered to be left unprotected. That's different. I still think in Calgary that Mark Giordano would be miffed, the captain of the team, that he was left unprotected, unless they sat him down and said why, but I don't even... Yeah, that's broken out there. Anyway, you had a point before.
Well, just a big job for Ron Francis, right?
Yeah.
You leave Eberle unprotected because he had a little bit of a down year in terms of points, and he comes with a $5 million price tag. So the price tag doesn't meet recent production, but it does meet potential. Mm-hmm. And so Ron Francis has some tough decisions to make.
Jordan Ewert from YouTube watching, he says, love Eberle, but he's overpaid for his production. Well, it's not just about points, but let's not start a holy war here. On the 717 writing on the Prairie Mobile text line, this viewer's watching on Game Plus TV. Come on, people. Carey Price is going to be 38 by the end of this contract. 38. Sorry, but Carey Price isn't Tom Brady-esque. Do we really think he's going to be good when he's 36, 37, 38? So I'm telling you, Ron Francis can figure this out. It's worked for Montreal. Not saying it's a bad contract for the Habs, but it wouldn't be a good contract for the Seattle Kraken. And by the way, did you hear the news over the weekend that Tom Edward Brady played on a torn MCL all year?
I did.
How's that for tough? How come that's not national news?
It's because of pliability and TB12, electrolytes.
And yoga.
And yoga.
Dustin, watching on Facebook, says, I'm late to the party, but it was nice to see you make an appearance and wave the green flag at the Estevan Motor Speedway this weekend. You guys still got that photo back there from the Speedway? If you can throw it up. Yeah, this was so hilarious. That guy, Dave, right there, he was literally, stop waving to the crowd. You got to drop the flag. And I thought, well, I thought I had time. Gentlemen, start your engines. There you go. I literally almost missed dropping the green flag because I was blowing kisses and waving to the crowd. They knew what they were getting.
That's right.
The second half kickoff is brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the Seattle Kraken fan club. The news out of the CFL isn't entirely great. The Alouettes cut our friend Tyler Crapigna today, veteran kicker. Mike Filer, veteran Hamilton Tiger Cat center, retired today. And in Winnipeg, Mercy Maston, who we're big fans of, and it's mutual because he likes all our stuff, watches all our stories. Mercy Maston, season done with an Achilles injury. And last hour, we had the executive director of the Players Association on, Brian Ramsey, who's a good friend of ours. And you got to go back. It was like the first answer he gave, because I wrote it down. He's like, there's a reason all these Achilles injuries are happening. I'll say it for him. He's like, don't buy this. It's a freak thing, which is what the teams are saying. He goes, it's not happening with every team. Notice he said that?
Mm-hmm.
So from the Puck and Pigskin podcast, he says, the only explanation I can think of is the long time without playing has guys not in top playing condition. That's possible. Wayne in Victoria says, I get the feeling from what Brian said that maybe the teams are in some way responsible for the Achilles injuries. Yeah, what made you think that? Yes. Yeah, I have no idea what he was saying. Achilles injuries from EGA on YouTube. It would appear some teams had not pre-prepared their players in advance with a mandated exercise regimen after having a long layoff, hence injuries. I think all we're saying here is we haven't heard the last of it. And somebody had written in here earlier and said, what could possibly be the reason? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But I don't know. What's been in my mind is, were they pushing them too hard? Were they pushing them too hard? That would make the team responsible, would it not?
Oh, yeah. It really would. But we don't really know, and neither do they. But that's why they're investigating it, because they know something's not right. They know something's not right, and they want to find out what.
The guy said, what could the possible reason be? I don't know, but Brian Ramsey said, we have an investigation. We're investigating it. So, again, I don't think that it's over yet. And that's why we just wanted to bring those guys on, give them a platform to speak. It's 11:11, by the way. Chris Bird, watching in Toronto, says the Argos trade defensive back Alden Darby for offensive lineman Terry Poole. Do the Argos have a plethora of great DBs? Yeah, I think so. They got a plethora of a lot of great players at every position. And that's the news today. Alden Darby going from the Argos to the Blue Bombers because of the injury to Mercy Meston. Keith Butler, watching on YouTube, says some training and conditioning people be questioned. And that's the tough part about this, is the Rough Riders strength and conditioning coach, Clinton T. Spencer, is one of the best in professional football. Ask any player. Ask any player. Is it on him? I've been told that he's been told it's not on him. But it ain't over yet. Then we just found this out from the Players Association. Sean, watching on YouTube, they are professional athletes. Shouldn't they always be training even in the off season? Or is that just me? I don't know, Sean. What were you training for? These guys hadn't been paid in 18 months from the CFL. They had to go get other jobs. Where are you on the business of? Because I'm getting it a lot from former pro athletes. If these guys want it bad enough, they'll find time to train.
Of course.
Where are you on that?
They do. No, I think they do. I think the player, the players aren't sitting home, sitting back, singing, "Man, I got to get a job, and football doesn't matter, and I'm not training." You're saying I got to get a job. It means I'm not training 3 hours a day in the middle of the day like I used to, but you got to find time to get it in. And I think these guys all care about football. They all want to play, and they all find time to train. But training isn't drills and isn't being on the field and isn't training camp. No matter how hard you push yourself. And guys push themselves hard.
Yep.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
Well, there's a lot of, not misinformation, but different information out there. For instance, the particular drill that the Rough Riders were doing where they were tossing the medicine ball back and forth and it had to do with them sprinting and before it landed, blah, blah, blah. I've seen them do that for years and years and years. But I've had somebody on the weekend, I said I was talking to a football guy, and there's like, well, they've never done that drill before. Why were they doing that drill? I'm like, no. If it's the drill that I've been watching for years, it's not new. From the Puck and Pigskin podcast, he says, pushing players too hard? How does one know exactly how far to push a player? What's the limit? That's not for me to know or for you to know or for you to know. That's for the professionals to know. And that's the problem. 4 Achilles got popped in one practice. Guess what? They were accidents. They didn't expect that to happen, but it's still called workplace health and safety. Accidents happen. Yeah, we know that. But are you covering their salary? Are you looking after them after the fact? That's what Brian Ramsey's talking about from the Players Association. What went into this? It's being investigated. And yeah, nobody wanted it to happen. What's the fallout? And how are you taking care of our players? From, what do we got here? Oh, back to the hockey thing, because people aren't moving off that. And I'm here for it. From Paolo on YouTube, it's been reported Carrie Price has knee and hip issues, likely getting surgery. Heard he's getting an MRI, and the results not known until Friday. Shouldn't this scare off Seattle?
Results not known until Friday. They do MRIs at halftime and have the results at the end of halftime.
Wait a minute. It's the Montreal Canadiens, the biggest of the big in that province, but we can't get you into an MRI because we got Martha and we got Ed and we got Joe's dog and we got not looking good for you, Carrie.
And what I understand is the only people that the Kraken are allowed to talk to here over the next 48 hours are pending UFAs. They're allowed to have some conversations with pending UFAs right now. So Ron Francis can have that call with Gabriel Landeskog and find out the chances of being able to sign him, and then make a decision accordingly based on a conversation, which may or may not go the way you think it's going to go, but you can still have that conversation. There's no conversation, I don't believe, happening with Carrie Price. So Francis has to do his real homework.
A couple things. One from Don in Winnipeg. He says, based on some of the video I've seen, players are eager to return and earn spots. It gets very intense at times. The one-on-one drills are wild to watch. Don't see anyone trying to ease into it. Is that part of the reason? Well, let's just remember, while you're talking about the Blue Bombers and Mercy Maston injured his Achilles in training camp, those Rough Rider injuries happened pre-training camp. Were they ready to go? And before we break, Rick from New Brunswick writes in. He says, let's switch it up. How about British Grand Prix? Verstappen and Hamilton. They do race each other hard. How about I do the talking, Rick, and you do the watching?
How about that?
How about that? Let's do that and see how that works out for everybody.
The what?
Get out of here with the British Grand Prix. How long have you been watching this show? We're not going to be talking about the British Grand Prix. We'll come back on these comments, and Matt Sekeres next. You're watching the RP Show. This has been the second half kickoff for the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the Seattle Kraken fan club. You're watching on Game Plus TV, YouTube, and Facebook Live, and 24-hour sports radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Our parents always taught us about the importance of quality of work and friendly service. And here at Suds Car Wash, we're a family-run business, so it's really important that our customers feel like family.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
At Capital GMC, we don't just sell vehicles, we buy them too. You know how we always have such a big inventory with an amazing selection? That's because we buy all makes, all models, and all years. We're going to give you the best price every time. And you don't even have to buy from us. All you have to do is visit us online or in-store, answer a few questions about your vehicle, and we'll get you a great offer. We'll even cut you a check on the same day. So save yourself the hassles of selling privately and sell it to us. Because at Capital GMC, we'll buy it.
Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions is Saskatchewan's only full-service supply chain company. Strategic sourcing, PO creation, and order expediting, VMI and vending solutions, and free delivery are just a few of the supply chain services we provide. If your company needs it, Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions can get it for you. Price, quality, service, Rockstar Supply Chain Solution is helping Saskatchewan companies buy better.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Laid back and kicking it. Let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Just ahead of Matt Sekeres. I'm sure the guy from New Brunswick's not watching anymore on Game Plus, but he wanted to talk about the British Grand Prix. Director Jordan he's a racing aficionado. He says, hot take about the British Grand Prix. Max and Lewis are both to blame for that crash, and Lewis didn't do it intentionally. Now you know.
I know who that is, though. Lewis Hamilton.
I've heard of him.
Oh, yeah. He's a big deal.
Hey, on these Achilles injuries, Norm Fong's watching, the Hall of Fame equipment manager of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He says, Rod, I think part of the reason for this injury was due to the type of drill the players were involved in. Burst drills. And Todd Pinkney, former Rams kicker, says the positive about the Achilles nowadays is surgery is not always the case. Most rehab is soft casted, and they let each end of the tendons grow and reattach naturally. Yes, but as Brian Ramsay said an hour ago, doesn't matter. It still happened. Doesn't matter that it's not career-ending anymore. They're upset that these players were put in a bad position. It's very interesting. And actually, it's a great place to pick it up with Matt Sekeres, Vancouver broadcaster, Sekeres and Prix. You've been hearing us talk about a few of these things, Matthew. I'm interested to get your take on, so what about this rash of injuries across the Canadian Football League here as in training camp?
Well, I think we knew something like this was coming, Rod, and thanks for having me back on the show. Appreciate it, buddy. I'm very pleased to see all your success. Yeah, I think we had an idea that some of this was coming based on the fact that it had been so long since Canadian Football League players had been on a field who had been going through these sorts of drills. And, you know, let's face it, it's a huge effort to keep yourself in tip-top game shape over the extended period that they were off the field. I'll say this, though, for Achilles in one session with one team, astronomical. Like, I can't even imagine what the odds on that would be. That's something that, for me, if I'm Brian Ramsey, I want a little more investigation into that, because that just seems completely unrealistic to have that many go with one team in one session on one surface. So I think CFL GMs knew going into this offseason going into this season, that depth was going to be a major part of the equation, that injuries were going to come and really be a dime a dozen through training camp. And you're going to have to make do with the players who are available.
Matt Sekeres with us, Vancouver-based Sekeres and Price. Before we get to this expansion talk and the Kraken, because, boy, are people wound up about that. I can't imagine what they're saying in BC, but are you keeping an eye on Lions training camp and Kamloops? And if so, what have you seen out of there?
Well, just a little bit. I mean, first things first, talking about the injuries, excuse me, Rod. Quarterback has to stay upright, right? Like, this is a 5-13 team from a couple of years ago, and Mike Riley took a licking. Now, part of that is Mike. Boy, it seems like we have had just a litany of quarterbacks in this market, from Dave Dickinson, Buck Pierce, now Mike Riley, like guys who just want to sit there and hold the football past three steamboats and make that throw down the field, oftentimes at risk of their own good health. So Mike's got to get rid of the football a little more quickly, but I also think that huge imperative on that offensive line to keep him upright. He is not a spring chicken anymore. He's in the twilight of his career, and I think he still can be effective, but it has to be with those clean pockets. It has to be, with a body that's holding up in the second half of the year. And the other thing, Rod, is way gone are the days of Cam Wake and Brent Johnson and Ricky Foley and the pass rush that the BC Lions used to get. It used to be a part, one of the best parts of their program. And, that has been lacking over the last few years, and they brought some CFL veterans in. So I think that's also going to be a really big part of their success or lack thereof this season. Can they protect the passer? Can they get to the passer?
Well, it is. Yeah, it's the Riders and the Lions on Friday, August the 6th at Mosaic Stadium to kick off the season, week one for both teams. Now, to the Kraken expansion draft. Maybe I'll just jump in on the Carrie Price thing. That's our poll question today. Should the Kraken draft Carrie Price with their pick off Montreal? And like a whopping number of people, Matt, are saying yes, they should. I would not. Where are you on that?
Well, I do think it comes down to the medicals, and it would appear that there's quite an effort going on now in terms to get out some information about Carrie Price's medicals, maybe to dissuade the Kraken from selecting the goaltender. $10.5 million for the next 5 years is obviously a significant chunk of change. That said, this is a franchise starting with zero, right? Absolutely from scratch on their salary cap, so it's completely doable. Of course, some of this is going to come down to the other goaltenders available. There are the reports out there they're going to sign Dreger or draft and then sign Dreger, a UFA to be from Florida. I think Aiden Hill out of Arizona might well have been a pick had he not been sent to San Jose just because of the weakness of the Coyotes list. And then, you get into some other goaltenders, including Vancouver's Braden Holtby, who may or may not be available on their individual teams. You got to take elite goalies. I suspect they'll take forward just to create a little extra than chip if they want. I think it would be quite a statement from the franchise to say, hey, we know this is an expensive contract for a goaltender who maybe 3 of the last 4 years hasn't been great in the regular season, maybe on the downside of career. But we think Carey Price gives us a chance each and every night to win. He's got roots in this state via his and the junior hockey career. I would go there. Yes, I would if I was Seattle. I think it makes sense. Can't replicate with any other player involved in this expansion draft.
Wow. Well, hey, I'm in the minority here. I'm very and by the way, Matt, as you know, that doesn't scare me. I spent a lot of time there. By the way,
it's a place you have to visit as a talk show host, Rod. It's a place you visit more often, perhaps, than in other lines of work. I hear you, brother.
Yeah, well, you're obviously not afraid to do that either. But now I have to tune in Wednesday night to see whether I'm right or wrong. But my take, by the way, you've watched every Canucks game this year. I would be taking Braden Holtby, and yes, I love him. He's a Lloydminster boy.
Yes, good boy. Yeah.
Yeah, $4.5 million, won a Stanley Cup. Why fool around with the Price salary when you could? Would you start a franchise with Braden Holtby?
Well, I think Carrie. I think Carrie is now significantly better than Braden Holtby. It's been a tough go for Braden Holtby the last few years, both in Washington and his 1 year here in Vancouver. Now, that all said, you're right. Vezina, Stanley Cup. There's a lot of people still with high regard for Braden Holtby as a backup goaltender, and we understand that there's some pretty good interest in Braden Holtby from as many as 8 teams across the National Hockey League who have checked in with the Vancouver Canucks about his availability, or were checking in, I suppose, prior to the protection list being due. So it would not surprise me in the least if Seattle makes Braden Holtby one of their picks, and wouldn't surprise me in the least if it is, in fact, Braden Holtby and Carey Price, because I do think there's a market for Braden Holtby out there, and a Seattle team that, again, has some cap advantages and maybe could retain some salary in any given trade, might be able to return a nice young piece, draft pick, something like that, for Braden Holtby if they wanted to draft and flip him. The alternative, of course, is you create competition, you create depth at the most important position. So, yeah, I'm fully preparing to hear Braden Holtby's name called on Wednesday by the Kraken.
Interesting. And I wonder, by the way, we're spending far too much time on goalies, which is fine because it is the most important position on the ice. However, do you think we hear a name like Tarasenko, Niederreiter, Eberle? Because there are some big names available outside the crease. Do you think they'll make a splash on somebody?
I get a sense you are going to see a splashy name or two amongst the skaters. I'm not sure we're talking Tarasenko because of the price tag, $7.5 million, the term, just a couple of years. And of course, there are some significant medical question marks on Tarasenko as well after all the time that he has missed for the last couple of years. And gosh, I remember the bubble series against the Canucks last year where Tarasenko just looked awful. I mean, a shadow of the great player that he was. I think if you take Carey Price, needless to say, you've now committed a significant number of your cap dollars that maybe taking to Tarasenko isn't quite as easy. That all said, Roddy, they could be taking the flip guys. The one thing that I think everybody needs to be crystal on, this is less an expansion draft to form your team, as we saw with the Vegas Golden Knights. This is a harvest of assets. There you go, Rod. I'll use the Saskatchewan term. This is a harvest. What's going to take place on Wednesday? You take the best crops from all 30 markets, and then you go about sorting out who's going to be your 12 forwards, 6 defense, 2 goaltenders, and who you can flip to get this organization positioned well via the draft and via a pool of prospects going forward.
It's hilarious, by the way, Matt. I think you've been out in the West long enough. I remember when Kelly McCrimmon was in Brandon doing his thing with the Wheat Kings, and when when the Oilers were talking to him and some of these other teams, there was media going, who is this Kelly McCrimmon? Why is he such a big deal? And, of course, I've known him since I was 16, and he just walked in with Vegas and fleeced everybody. They're still talking about that, Matt. They're still people. How much pressure's on Ron Francis to follow that Vegas template there?
Well, I mean, certainly for the fans who are paying attention in Seattle, they saw their expansion cousins here go to the Stanley Cup final in year 1. And look, I think that surprised everybody, including George McPhee and Kelly McCrimmon. But you're right. They did an absolutely magnificent job of stocking that team. They did a magnificent job of playing the leverage they were given by the National Hockey League. I've gotten in trouble on my show, Rod, by using the word extortion or blackmail. Basically, these expansion drafts, the way they've been set up, they give the teams license to extort and blackmail the existing member clubs. And Vegas did a magnificent job of that to the point where they were able to build one of the best rosters in the National Hockey League quickly. And I think Seattle's going to have an opportunity here too. I keep hearing, people don't want to do side deals because they learned their lessons of last time with Vegas. Well, look, if you're an individual GM trying to solve his own roster problem, you don't really care if there are 4 or 5 other teams out there that are willing to do side deals to make the Kraken better. Just like you don't necessarily care if there were, 6 or 7 teams that screwed up via the side deal with the Vegas Golden Knights. You're simply and selfishly looking to solve your problem. So I get a sense there's going to be a number of side arrangements done with the Kraken here. And I get a sense that that's going to make them a pretty competitive team in year one.
Well, I can't wait. They're must-see TV already, and they haven't even got a player yet. But that'll change come Wednesday night. Matt, always good. I appreciate the visit, man. Thanks for the report from the West Coast.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, Rod. And anyone who wants to listen, we're 3 to 6 p.m. daily Pacific time, sekeresandprice.com.
All right. Thanks, bud. Matt Sekeres from Sekeres and Price, the Vancouver-based sports talk show. Moose just ran out of the room, but that's okay. I can handle it. Let me know what you want to talk about. Prairie Mobile text line is open. I think we're going to do that right up until the top of the hour. 306-840-8777. That is 306-840-8777. Prairie Mobile is your authorized SaskTel mobility dealer. Let's look at the poll question here. Well, okay, Michael Wynn's tweeting at us in Winnipeg. He's like, LMAO, LMAO. Laugh my arse off, Holtby. Stop being cheap, Rod. Start the franchise with Carrie Price. Come on. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. And I love Carrie Price. It's too much. Marc-Andre Fleury comes at half that. And I know what you're going to say. Don't say it. Poll question, should the Seattle Kraken select Carrie Price in the expansion draft? 70% said yes, they should. Can we just fast forward the clock to Wednesday, Clark? I can't wait for this now. I'm in a glass case of emotion now over the Seattle expansion draft. Jordan Ewart on YouTube says, why would a team handcuff themselves right off the bat? I know, right? That's exactly what they would be doing if they drafted Carrie Price. Can we break? Okay. Jordan Ewart says 70% of people listening today are crazy.
How about that?
I'd say it's probably more. We'll be right back with a sports update. We'll tell you what's going on. Moose will be back, I think. Or it's just you and me the rest of the way. Fire your questions in now. 306-840-8777. Would love to hear from you. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube, and Facebook Live, and 24-hour sports radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Comfort has always been something we as people strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek in Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic Greek cuisine, pizza, ribs, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Offering licensed dining delivery, and their takeout window is open to get your Greek to go. For more information and to view the online menu, visit themadgreekeatery.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Okay, we're back. And guys, I don't know if we can do this or not. But the next 20 minutes, Moose, we got to get the face-off in. And I know, clearly what it's going to be because we've faced off many times. Clark was suggesting it earlier. I just wasn't quite prepared for it. Can we bring up the summer photos again? Because I never read the word from Great Western Brewing Company, the sponsor. Can we do that?
Yeah.
We're asking you, here we go. This was our weekend. Both Moose and I were together for some of it and not together for all of it. This was Friday night. What a shot on my Prairie Mobile iPhone, by the way.
I know.
Can you go back to the last photo?
Yeah, a little bit quicker.
What a shot. That was off my iPhone
You got
live
the tip
right
off.
there.
And that's Mike Siona throwing the ball up.
Yeah, is that guy jacked or what?
Oh, he works out.
He's a weatherman at CTV.
Oh, no, he works out.
Mike Siona. Anyway, so that was the tip-off at the Rattlers game. There's me and Moose in the VIP section because they treat us the way we deserve.
It was good.
That's me dropping the green flag and waving to the crowd and getting yelled at for not paying attention as the cars were coming around the track. Big shock there.
Yeah.
That's me watching my niece Sydney's hockey game Sunday night with my summer hockey gear, socks and sliders. Okay, guys, thanks. That's you at the movie theater.
Yeah, Space Jam 2. Went and saw that. That was really good.
That's the ad that airs before every year. That's you and Michael Vick. I mean, let's talk about that for a second. You and Michael Vick. How about that?
It was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Good for you.
Yeah, he won the auction. He's got the #1 pick, and it's called the UFAFL. It's Franchise Fantasy Sports. And just so you know, when they buy their team, they run it Dynasty League now forever. Make money as you go. That franchise cost him $175,000. This is big boy fantasy football.
Darren was hobnobbing on Sunday with Michael Vick, Chris Carter, and Nate Burleson. That's a true story.
Yes.
So our summer photo album, we ask you to put your photos on Twitter and Instagram, and here to show with us how you're enjoying the summer and get a chance to be featured on the RP Show by using the hashtags RP Show or hashtag GWBeerSummer. This Michael win in Winnipeg's not letting it go with the Carrie Price to Seattle talk with drafting him. He goes, Rod, you know Price just went to the Stanley Cup, right, Rod? Yeah, so did I. I'm not telling Seattle to draft me.
How about that?
But it's not a joke.
Yeah. There's pros and cons. And you know what? You bring in Price.
They're not taking.
You're going to sell a bunch of jerseys. You're going to sell a bunch of tickets. You're going to have a competitive team. And how important is that? I think long term, it's not a great decision for the Kraken to have that money tied up for that long.
Let's look at it from another way for a second. Carey Price is the entire Montreal Canadiens franchise. He's the whole team.
Yeah.
Mark Bergevin's putting his balls on the table, by the way. He really is.
Yeah.
But they're not going to take him. Are we facing? Do you think they're going to take him?
I think they might. He might not be on my roster just because I don't know how I fit in the other guys that I want. And look at this. It's really hard to get Price and Giordano. Giordano doesn't come cheap either.
5.5, I think.
Something like. I got to check his. Clark, can you check his cap hit for Giordano? But
let's go to the big board. What'd you say?
6.75.
Whoa.
So this is what I mean. You can't get both of those and a number one center. You want Ryan Johansson as a number one center. He costs $8 million. You can't get everybody. And you can't fill out your entire roster with $700,000-$800,000 guys, even though there's some really good quality ones out there. You just can't do it. So you have to decide. When I put Price in my roster, I didn't have a top pairing defenseman. I had a bunch of 3, 4, and 5, and 6 defensemen. I didn't have a 1-2. When I drafted Price and tried to get Giordano, you don't have a number one line. So there's sacrifice. But you do get the great PR. You do get the jersey sales. You do get Carrie Price, solid in goal. And there's some good young goaltenders. Joey Decord, Capo Kakinen, young guys who can be your backup.
Ain't exactly the creme de la creme expansion draft.
No, but it's
not. Of the names that I've seen.
But it's not bad.
I feel like we just faced off. Yeah, we did. For the Mad Greek in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, where the patio is, of course, now open for licensed dining at the Mad Greek. Visit them today. And brought to you by the Ultimate Fan Zone, now just a click away from our man cave to your man cave. Shop online today at ultimatefanzone.ca. Most of our staff around here are adorned in gear from the Ultimate Fan Zone on a daily basis. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Very relaxed dress code around here. Ryan in New York State watches this, says, hey, could I send in a couple pics even though I don't live in Great Western Country? Well, look, you can do whatever you want.
Of course you can.
That's what we do around here. We don't restrict people. Let's see your photos. Come on, send them. You ready for a sports update?
Yeah.
The Toronto Blue Jays are coming off a sweep of the Texas Rangers and have won 4 in a row, but they face a tough test ahead. Toronto opens a 3-game set with the American League East leading Boston Red Sox tonight in Buffalo. It's Ross Stripling on the mound for Toronto versus Nick Pivetta. The Sox have lost 2 in a row. This is big. They want to win the division. They have to win this series, clearly. Sweeping it would be nice.
Yes.
The 2 best teams in baseball are going head-to-head today. The National League West is up for grabs as the Giants and Dodgers open a 4-game series today. Giants have 58 wins, as do the Dodgers. LA's won the NL West for 8 consecutive years. How about that?
How about that?
Eric Almirola pulled off a surprise victory at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. It was the first win of the year for Stuart Haas Racing. The race was delayed nearly 2 hours by rain, and NASCAR called it early due to darkness. Almirola raced to his 3rd career Cup victory and first since 2018. Hey, us NASCAR fans weren't very happy with him calling that, eh, Jordan? We weren't very happy with that. He's not paying attention. He liked the result. He was okay with them calling it early. Okay, I got you. A lot of crashes where I was Saturday night. A lot of crashes. It was too many crashes. People were mad.
And it starts getting delayed.
I was in, you saw up on the platform there where I was dropping the green flag, and the race before the one that I went up to drop the green flag on, there was crash after crash after crash. It took forever. Mm-hmm. So I jump in the area. I got to learn the wording. And the guy says to me, idiot drivers. And I said, what? Well, they're all trying to get into first. I'm like, isn't that the idea? What am I missing, Jordan? Yeah, if you're not first, you're last. Who said it? Ricky Bobby.
But
shake and bake.
But Jordan just said you can't win the race in the first lap. So, yeah, you all want to get into first right away, and we all go and we pile up, and it does. Start again. Pile up, start again. Just
That's what
relax.
happens. That's what happened.
Take over first on the 2nd lap or the 3rd lap or the 4th lap.
I wasn't done yet. The Canadian Elite Basketball League announced Saturday that the Ottawa Blackjacks and the City of Ottawa have been awarded the rights to host the 2022 CEBL Championship Weekend from August 17th to the 21st, with games taking place in the arena at TD Place. That is the home of the Ottawa 67s and the Red Blacks. The championship weekend will be a 5-day festival hosted locally in partnership with the City of Ottawa, Ottawa Tourism, Ottawa Sports and Entertainment Group, and the Blackjacks. The celebration of basketball, music, and local culture will feature concerts, street festivals, the CEBL Awards Gala, and more. In the CEBL tonight, Moose, Edmonton visits Guelph. You can watch on CBC Gem and Twitch. And the Phoenix Suns are trying to prove their resilience on the biggest stage of them all. The Suns face elimination for the first time in the NBA postseason when they travel to Milwaukee for Game 6 of the finals tomorrow night. Phoenix won the first 2 games of the series. The Bucks have roared back to win the last 3. This sports update for dubnetwork.ca, your number one source for Western Hockey League breaking news and information. Visit today, dubnetwork.ca. And for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars, now with 8 amazing flavors, including my favorite, almond coconut. What's your favorite?
The peanut butter chocolate.
Ooh.
I know. But there's flavors we haven't tried.
Order yours now at g2gbars.ca, and if you use the promo code RPShow, they'll give you 20% off. Overtime coming up next in Viewer Takeover. You're watching the RP Show on this Monday on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Capital is Regina's trusted GMC Buick Cadillac dealership. Whether you're on the market for a new or certified pre-owned vehicle, we got you covered. And when it's time for service work, you can trust our factory-trained technicians who specialize in repairing any make or model. But don't take our word for it. Check out capitalgmc.ca to see how we roll and to learn what other customers are saying about working with us. Your dealership experience should be fun, easy, and transparent. And that's exactly what you'll get when you choose Capital GMC, Regina's trusted GMC Buick Cadillac dealership.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Our parents always taught us about the importance of quality of work and friendly service. And here at Suds Car Wash, we're a family-run business, so it's really important that our customers feel like family.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. It's overtime. It's a lot of people's favorite part of the show. Moose is with me. And by the way, I should tell you, coming up tomorrow, from CHCH TV Hamilton, Clint Bubba O'Neill, our NHL insider Rich Sutter, and Gannon Larocque. He is a NHL draft prospect with the Victoria Royals. So that's coming up tomorrow. Looking forward to that. I appreciate you spending the day with us, wherever you may be watching the program today. And obviously, we have a lot of viewers in Ontario. 905 texting us, anonymous texter. Says about 15 have tested positive in the Olympic bubble, one in the village. I'm not sure I'm ready for that yet, Moose.
Yeah. Starts Friday. But
is it that soon?
I know. It shocked me. But, yeah, it does. And they're going to have it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You're bringing people in from all over the world. So you have to expect a little bit of this. And hopefully it's okay. We found it. You're not in. You got to wait.
What an absolute logistical nightmare when it comes to the Olympics. Can you imagine?
But they have to be prepared
hard running a pee-wee football team, let alone the Olympics.
I know. But they have to be prepared for this. So this shouldn't be, none of this should be a surprise. None of this should be.
What's being prepared? Bringing along backups?
Look at how the NHL had all of their systems in place and all carefully coordinated and making sure there's no interaction. And so if it happened in the village, it didn't mean that you were hanging out with the team from Japan and the team from Argentina. And then we found out later, no, you stay with your group or yourself in the village in your own space. And it's the Olympics. They've got this figured out, and this is going to happen.
Any CFL comments are welcome here, but people seem to really be wanting to talk about the Seattle expansion draft, and I'm down with either or. As I said, fluent in both of Canada's official languages, hockey and football. Regarding the Achilles injuries from EGA, watching on YouTube, says the Rough Riders of Saskatchewan, a pro sports club, they have to take full responsibility for allowing players without supervision into the team facility prior to training camp to practice. Sounds like that is what's being investigated by the CFL Players Association right now. Kind of sounded like it's not done yet.
Yeah.
Which I thought it was, but clearly not. Regarding Carrie Price being left unprotected by the Montreal Canadiens for the expansion draft. Somebody said here earlier, and I can't quite find it, but it's about his injury. Mike in Toronto says they won't take him after talk about a knee surgery. Why they want to not have him for a year? The Knights set the bar to get to the Stanley Cup. They want to compete now, so they need a goalie now. You know, we talked about this on Friday. It's like, it seems so elementary and just so obvious that they're just fibbing about these injuries to Shea Weber and Carey Price. They wouldn't put it just out there and hide in plain sight, would they?
What a bluff.
Yes, they would. They absolutely would. We can't get him an MRI till Friday, so we don't even know. We won't even know till Friday if he can play next year or not. And you're drafting Wednesday, so I think you should just not draft him, Ron.
But if you want to, take your chance. He's probably got a knee injury. I mean, good for you. And besides, I could use the extra $10 million to spend in free agency.
They
going shopping in July.
Teams do this.
Yeah, of course.
But it just seems so obvious that people wouldn't think that they're doing it, but this is exactly what they're doing.
And here's the thing. Mark Bergevin is so cool that he doesn't have a tell. You don't know. He doesn't have a tell. He's MRI, results Friday. He is so cool that you can't sit across from him and tell if he's lying to you or not. He's just...
Sorry, Bergie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bergevin.
Yeah. Very popular in Montreal.
When they're winning.
When they're winning. They love you in Montreal when you're winning. It's like Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. They love you, win or tie. From Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, could they not just call Price's agent to get what's up? Probably not. By the way, the thunder cracked so high above. Whoa! Listen to this. Can you hear this?
Yeah.
It is pouring rain and hail, clearly. The thunder cracked so hot, the thunder cracked so loud, I thought they were moving chairs. I said, are they moving chairs on the floor above us? And you said, there is no floor above us.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Thank God I didn't bring Big Bird today. I'd have been getting inundated.
It would be a tough drive home.
From Pinckney, regarding the positive test in the athletes' village, he says you need a negative test before you board, negative test when you land, negative test to enter the village, and then you have COVID when you enter? WTF. I know, right? This is the stuff that makes no sense. Where is it coming from? Faulty testing equipment?
Could be.
I'm just so over it.
Could be false positives.
Isn't everybody over it?
Like, here's the thing. When I've seen people traveling to the States, and you need to have a negative test before you get on the plane to go home. They get on the plane, go to the States, and right when they get off the plane, they take the test. And then they go hang around the U.S., but that test that they took when they got off the plane is the one they used to get back on. So it doesn't track if you've gotten COVID over the next 2 days.
Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Not really.
From Troy in Toronto, he says, I got a call from the Canadian Olympic chef de mission to fly to Japan as a backup for multiple sports. Even a 53-year-old may win a medal through participation attrition. What sport? I wonder how old the oldest Olympian is. I guess we'll find that out. Listen, I love the Olympics. When Michael Phelps was crushing it, I sat and watched it all day. I'm going to do that again.
I love it.
But it is, we got a long week ahead of that. Again, tomorrow, Clint Bubba O'Neill out of Hamilton, Rich Sutter, and Gannon LaRock of the Victoria Royals. Thanks today to Brian Ramsey, Saul Elimimian, and Matt Sekeres. See you tomorrow at noon Eastern, right here on Game Plus. Who has more fun than us?